Hey everyone, I am popping in on a little quick tutorial. Might not be so quick, but we're going to try to knock some of these out. So if you watched the last couple videos, you probably saw where I poured and worked on some of these pieces that I've been working on. And then I had poured this guy as well. So basically, I am going to be doing a little cleanup and then pouring our top coats and dumbing layers that need on these wherever they need it and things of that nature. So that's what this video is about. I need to grab a tool. I didn't come prepared, but I'm going to show you this little gadget. So this piece swivels. I can't remember right now what this is called, but I will get it and I'll link it. I bought it on Amazon after watching others in the craft and trade use one. It's phenomenal for edges that don't clean up as nice as they should. You just take it. It takes a little bit of practice. It's kind of like a peeler. If you're peeling a potato or a carrot, potentially, of course you want to be careful not to stab yourself or slice yourself, but it just takes a nice thin layer off of any sharpness, and you might be able to see the little pieces coming and flying. And like I said, it takes just a little bit probably to get the hang of it and the feel. You want to put pressure, but you're also not putting like an awful ton of pressure, because you just want a little layer stripped off. This guy wasn't bad. He's going to require a little top coat, especially on this edging is just really sharp. These came out so pretty no matter what. If you just really look at all the detail, they just came out stunning. I just am in love with how they came out. It looks really bubbly and cloudy, but honestly, if you watch the other videos, you probably saw I put like a crushed shell in it, and that's what gave that look. Probably wouldn't do that again unless I'm going for that look. Okay, so right here, this guy, and see how that just came right off? And then I kind of had bumped over here, so I need to clean that up. Oh, here's another good example. This I might be able to pop with my finger, sort of, but then it leaves a little bit there. Whereas this guy's going to come in and just take that little lip off. You can see a little bit more here. And you could go this way, but I don't find that it works as well for me going that way. So I just keep my thumb at a good distance and it works. Alright, that feels better. This guy, really, I don't know if I'm going to even dome him, because he just came out almost so perfect out of the mold that I'm afraid if I dome him, I'm just going to cause issues. I'm going to cause like runoff issues and cause myself to have to do other cleanup. I do see, the only thing kind of imperfect was one of the layers had a chunk of bubbles right there, but nothing I can do about that. I'm going to probably pin these with a paint pen. I haven't decided if I'm going to go gold or silver yet, but I'll probably border those. So I'm not worried about the dullness of the sides, because I am going to go over that, and that's all going to be hidden. But yeah, again, this shimmer, and you can see I have a window over there. Like, look at the reflection. This is Counterculture DIY, y'all. They are so shiny. Their resin is so shiny. It's spectacular. It's hard to video, and it is hard to get good pictures, because we call it the curse of the glare. It just glares. But it tells you you're getting a good shine. This guy will definitely get a top coat. He is very sharp on these edges. And some of these leaves are going to pop off because I need to. So my goal isn't to shave this all the way down to where it's even and smooth, because I'm going to put a top layer on. My goal is just to make sure these edges aren't like so sharp that they could slice you. Be used as a weapon. So, and this, if you can't tell, this is a napkin ring holder. I've had these molds. Shoot. I'm so bad. I bought them like a year ago because I was like, oh, look, napkin holders, I must have. And then I didn't use them. So I thought, oh, that's a cute one to use for extra resin. Yay. That's nice. Okay. Of course, I'm going to have to wipe these off just because they're under my surface since I'm trying to show this on video, which is fine. This definitely has a lip, so we will definitely go ahead and add a layer. But in the meantime, before I do that, I'm going to, like I said, I'm not trying to get down to the same level as the bottom layer there. I'm just trying to get the main edge off, and this corner is going to pose a challenge. But when crafting, we overcome challenges and we get creative. And I'll just have to make sure that I come up with my resin on that. I would maybe put a felt bottom on it, but the bottom is so pretty too and unique. Not that people are going to necessarily turn this piece over. People could use it as a trinket dish. They could use it as a soap dish. It's just this shine and shimmer of this mica powder that I used. Ooh, a couple mica powders in there, but and then this is pretty too. It's got some unique siding just because I used extra resin to fill that mold. Alright. I'm not going to even attempt to like pull these edges off. They are very sharp. This one is sharp just because it's got so many sharps. I'm just not going to. I'm going to try to fill it with enough resin that it pretty much handles that. That one might need to have like a sanding block done on it at some point. So, and same with this one. I'm not going to mess with it. It's got a big enough lip still that I put it back in the mold, which was a little challenging because sides are a little different just because of the unique shapes. I had to figure out where it went back in. But I'm just going to fill the mold up, basically. So, just trying to clear this space here. And get my trash bag set up so that's there. Alright. Get me some gloves on. Make sure you get some good gloves just to protect your fingers and your skin from the resin. These ones are actually from Counterculture DIY. I can use them a couple times. You can see that pinky was not cooperating because this is a second use of this one because I wiped them off. So, well, that one, like this one will get thrown after this round just because I probably didn't get that little area cleaned and it ripped. I also have gotten gloves at Harbor Freight. They work just as well too. But during the pandemic, they definitely were going through their gloves and didn't always have them available for regular customers because obviously our first responders needed them. So because of that, I ordered some from Counterculture, and I've been using those still. Alright, we're going to use Counterculture DIY, medium viscosity, and I have my B. They have these like seals, which is great, so that air isn't getting into your bottles as much. I use a Cricut tool. I don't love this tool for weeding when I use my Cricut machine, so I'm not worried if I ruin it, which is why I use it. Funny. Let's see. I like to mark my cups where I'm going to try to go, especially when I'm doing more resin than I normally would. I don't know what it's going to take to demo these, so this is just like straight up guess, and I'll use anything extra. I'll pour into another mold or something I'll come up with. Okay, so I marked it at 60 mLs on that one. Mark this one as well. My permanent marker usually just wipes off when I clean my cup, so I'm not worried about staining it. I like to pour B first. It's easier. B is going to be thinner. It's easier to pour out of the container. I always set my cup down on the hard surface so that it can level out. I usually have to play a little bit of a game. You want to make sure you're 1 and 1. But I'm a smidge above that line, so when I pour A, I'm going to have to go a smidge above the line as well. It is common, even with 1 and 1, that you will end up with extra A. Ideally, you will not, because there's the same amount in each bottle. But it's very common. I see a lot of artists run into that issue. And I definitely did when I first started. This is not going to pull that up. It's going to break that seal. But as I've gone on, I've gotten a lot better. I'm not going to say that it's 100%, but it is much better. The reason is A is so thick that it doesn't come out as smooth, and so you just, when it doesn't settle, you maybe don't get an accurate pour. Some people put pumps in these, which is nice, but it will allow air in your bottle, so they will yellow quicker. You can use yellowed resin. Usually it's fine. Especially if you're adding micas or alcohol ink, you're not going to see it. It's going to clear up when you mix it anyway. Let's see if that, I think it's still not leveled yet. So I'm going to leave this bottle open just until I make sure that this levels out a little bit. And we're going to need probably just like the tiniest amount more. A is your hardener. Oh, and I'm sorry, I have my phone plugged in, and so I bumped the cord. Still getting used to the workspace with videoing at the same time. Alrighty. So y'all took a bouncy bounce. So I just took this stir stick, and this is from Counterculture. They're like a few bucks and come in a set of 5, which girl here who loves a good deal loves that because they're reusable. You could warm up your A in what they call a warm bath. Absolutely. Do that if you want to. I find with my workspace, I just don't have room to add something else in. And I'd have to actually run upstairs to put it in a warm bath, bring it back down. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of work for me, and I haven't had major issues with it. If you warm it up, it's going to thin that a little bit so that it's not so thick. And I'm just closing up my... Okay. Sorry. Had to stop. Had a phone call come through. Can't video and phone call at the same time. I know, crazy. So, I have this bigger container. I've done this both ways. I've poured A into it first, and then I've poured B into it. For stirring purposes, I truthfully love A. I mean, of course, I tell you all backwards. I love B first for stirring purposes. I just feel like because B is thinner, this could just be me, but B is thinner, so it puts a buffer on the walls of the container that I'm stirring in and helps me mix the A in better. When I put A in first, because it's so thick, as you can probably see, it just is a thicker portion of the resin. It gets stuck to the bottom more. I feel like I have to stir it more, which more chance of bubbles, things like that. So, you can try it for yourself either way. Find out what works best for you anytime you craft. I'm going to be a big proponent of this, is anytime you craft, there's not a wrong way. Might be an easier way, but there's not a wrong way. So, you got to find out what works for you. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it is going to work for you. Alright, and I just try to scrape as much as I can. I know when I did the original pours of these, I didn't do it to where I'm recording my voice as I'm doing everything, so you might not have gotten as full of a look at my process, but I wanted to give you those videos at least. So then, yeah, I scrape those as best as I can. I'm going to scrape this one's edges because I know part A got stuck up here on the side, and I'm going to work to get it onto my stirring tool to mix that in. And I'm creating bubbles. Every artist has their own probably thoughts on this. Yes, the less bubbles you can create in your mixing process, the less you have to worry about when you pour. And that's absolutely valid. And I can tell you from experience that is valid. I just have found my technique, yes, is going to create bubbles. I'm not going to panic over those bubbles at this point. Some people are like, oh my goodness, I have so many bubbles once I've mixed it. Yes, 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 you do. But a lot of times if I'm adding alcohol ink or mica powders, that's going to hide your bubbles. Even if you do have bubbles, it's going to hide them pretty well. The other thing is that if you spritz it with the rubbing alcohol, that's going to pop up your bubbles. Hit it with the heat gun, that's going to pop up your bubbles. So forth. So there's a lot of things you can do. I do not have a pressure pot. I don't have one of those resin things that take the bubbles out before you pour. They look interesting. I just don't have experience with them. I haven't spent the money. Again, I am a crafty girl and on a budget. So I spend my money on quality resin and work on my craft. Just have fun. Truthfully, if I didn't have crafting, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. So, I have quite a few bubbles, you can see, but it is, besides those bubbles, it's pouring clear. And I'm sorry, I took y'all for a ride again. I bounced you because I bumped the bottom of the camera stand. But it's pouring clear, so I'm going to set that aside. I've got resin on this glove, so what I like to do, since I'm showing you the full process, I like to take my rubbing alcohol. This might be 99% because I love this bottle and the spout this bottle has, but it's a Walmart brand, and I bought a big case of rubbing alcohol on Amazon, so, and their spouts aren't as nice. So I reuse my bottle and put Amazon brand in there. But I just pour some on the paper towel and wipe my glove off. And now I'm ready, like, to roll again and touch things and not be worried. Okay. And I throw that paper towel just to the side because it only has clear on it. So I will use it to wipe out a mixing thing, wipe off my tools, something that's not going to affect this kind of stuff. Alright, let's see. You were the one. Yeah. This guy is, I'm just not going to touch him. I'm going to, when I do the other one, I'll paint. When the other one cures from this doming, when this one cures from the doming, I'm going to paint the edges and we're going to call him done. I'm not going to mess with him. I don't want the overflow. I don't want more hiccups. Just, no. This one, he's just got just this side, but we're going to have to make sure it's level on there. So there will be a little thin layer over here, and then, of course, more will be on this edge. I'm probably going to just move him over here. You might barely be able to see him in the picture when we do him, but once I pour him, because he's going to be so sensitive, I don't want to have to move him. This one definitely is going to get a layer on it. This two. These two, I'm going to do the Counterculture Glitter Merry Maple. They come in a bag. I don't like bags. I find that they're just hard to work with. It's hard for me to maneuver with gloves. So I bought some of their containers that hold the glitter, and I just transfer them in to that. You can also get these at Michael's. I go back and forth, whichever one has the better deal price-wise, because I'll catch these from Counterculture on a clearance or on a sale and get them from them, or I'll get them from Michael's. Michael's are plain all the way around, and then I just cut out from the bag, I cut out this, label, and then I just use some packing tape and tape it onto my container. So I like that. This would be a Counterculture one. This is a container from Counterculture. It actually has their Counterculture glitter mix label, tagging them and such. I don't write on here. This would be our color name or our glitter name. I don't, because I'm literally just cutting out their own label and taping it to my thing. So I just showed you that. Glitter transfer, mica transfers to other containers. This is a bonus tip in this video. Bonus tip: if you are transferring glitter or mica powders to another container from a bag, pop it in the freezer for about 5 or so minutes. That's going to help get that static out. I'm notorious. I do something and I walk away and I come back to it. So I put them in there while I ran to the store. So it was more than 5 minutes. Then you come back. I actually have some bags that I haven't transferred yet. So they're not in the freezer, of course. So there's a lot of static still in this bag. But instead of opening it from up here and trying to pour it in, it is so hard to do. Somebody else, after I literally glitterified my workspace with a silver mica powder, I posted on their artist website and was like, there's got to be a better way. Somebody told me the secret. And so somebody mentioned, put it in the freezer. Fantastic. Second thing is once it's been in the freezer, it will move within this bag a lot easier than it did just now. But then move it out of one of the corners. Snip this corner right here, because you're not going to need to reuse the bag. I mean, you would have to clean this bag for days to get all that mica out of there. So you're going to toss this bag anyway. So you cut it right here and then use that corner to pour all that in, and it's like a funnel. It's pre-unfunnel there. Once the mica is out, that's when I cut into the bag and cut out the label and tape it to the container. I've got other containers. This isn't a great example because it doesn't have a label. This is my crushed shells. But I have containers like this that I've got. Oh, I have them right here. Here is probably the one that It might have been this pearl shimmer, but I don't think it was. I think it was, yeah, it was a silver. It was this sterling that was all over my workspace. You can see how messy even my label is because there was mica under it. I had mica everywhere. It was atrocious. So, that's my pro tip. Pro bonus tip. Alright. I feel like this has sat quite a bit. And as you can see, bubbles have all centered here. A little bubble foam section. So I am going to, before I divvy this up, and I like to take my heat gun and I like to blow it away from my workspace when I first turn it on. And what helps is to have it plugged in. That way, if there was any dust on this end, I'm not blowing it into my space. And I'm just popping it just gently and not touching the sides. But now you can see that river foamy section is gone. There are still a lot of bubbles, for sure. Again, I'm not stressing about them. I'm not going to stress. Craft is supposed to be fun. Alright. So, probably going to need a bigger container than these. Let's just do a disposable one. These are just little Dixie cups. Little paper Dixie cups. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my resin first into the cup. Again, I don't know how much I'm going to need. So we're just going to guesstimate. And I'm going to pour. Note for self, be careful when pouring. This is the only problem. Doing a bunch of projects in a small area on camera, I tend to, if I spill, then it's onto some other project. But you get to watch me through all my fumbles and know that, yes, even though maybe my products come out gorgeous, that the process isn't as seamless and simple as it may look. Alright. Use that same napkin, wiped off that little bit that was stuck to me. So that's good. I want to put some clear in a smaller thing since I want this clear and I want this clear. I'm going to put it in a smaller container so that I have more control over it. I can tell right now I'm probably going to have extra. And that's fine. I'm not concerned because it's not going to go to waste. I refuse to let it go to waste. I like to start kind of on my edge and work my way in. That's probably because when I do a bloom or a flower, I start in the middle and work my way out. I'm strange. I like to mix it up. And I can see that I'm going to need a little bit more in my smaller container. Okay, a lot more because third time's the charm. I'm going to merge all these videos together. So you won't feel like it's third time to charm, but if you see some little hiccups, I did stir this and I had to take another phone call. That's what I get for trying to do this on a lunch break. It's okay. All good. We're cool. So I did stir that, but I didn't want to get too far ahead, even though I stopped to do that phone call because I want y'all to see the process. I probably will have some at some point, some sped up videos and things that maybe you don't see the full process. And if it's something you're really interested in, definitely let me know and I will create a tutorial for it. But something when I was starting out that was really hard for me is that a lot of people, because this does take time, speed up their process and you get an unclear picture of what it's going to take to actually do a project. So when I do projects like this, I tell myself a minimum of an hour to get this poured. I'm trying to squeeze this in an hour with 2 interruptions, so we'll see. All right, and you have limited amount of time with your resin to work just because it's going to start its curing process. You've mixed both parts, it's going to begin its process. So I poured those And then as you saw with this tray, I did move that around to get to the edges. I'm hoping the tray doesn't overflow, which it already is. I see it over here overflowing. So every mistake is fixable. Gotta get a little creative. So we're gonna get a little creative. I've got some bubbles on him. So this little bottle just has the same thing, rubbing alcohol in it. And that's going to help get to these bubbles that are under the top layer that aren't popping on the initial. That was an old little like travel size perfume bottle, body spray bottle. Alright, so remember my napkin that I've been using with my alcohol on it to wipe my fingers and my glove. That's what I'm running up here. I am not bumping that edge, but I'm trying to definitely get everything that's on this little side wiped off. And I'm even going to do something probably that I shouldn't, but I'm going to pick it up and wipe the bottom edge so that it doesn't stick to the mat. It wouldn't actually stick, it would come right up, but then I would have a flat surface that I now have to maneuver. So we will be watching this edge closely since he's already been a problem child. All fine, just some of the hiccups when you have resin. Okay, so I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm not going to do much on this guy because he doesn't need a lot. I poured quite a bit on those two. I don't need much on him. Very thin layer up here, a little bit thicker here towards the bottom. So I'm just trying to clean out my container, save as much resin as we can, have as little waste as we can, and then I'm going to literally just take little scoops and double it. And then I'll probably just take a finger and spread it around. Reason for that is because I need just such a thin layer. If you've ever done tumblers, you know about spreading it to the edges. And when I heat it up, it will also spread a little. And hopefully take away my streak marks from my gloves because I don't want those. I want this to be beautiful, shiny, level resin. And I might put another scoop on it just to kind of help level that out. Yeah, because it's going to need a little more in there. Again, I'm still using that same one. It's probably not getting my gloves as clean now because we did do that cleanup, but it's clean enough. And all I'm doing, I put where I could really see that it needed, and then I'm just kind of going around the edges just to let that kind of flow through. This bottle's got to get cleaned. It got into some sticky resin for sure. Okay. So he's looking good. Alright, let's check this guy. Not too much is coming off, but there is a little. And my guess is I'll end up with a drip. I'll have to clean up, but I'm going to try to avoid it if I can. It's like I need that edge to cure up and hold that in. I might actually turn this. I think my table might not be 1000% level. I need to figure that out. I'm on carpet in here, and so it like sinks, and so yeah. And I'm just doing a quick, I'm not going to do a ton because I don't want a ton on especially the tray because I don't want that to start like flowing. And I gotta remember this is the side that I gotta be looking at in more detail. Alright, so got our little maple leaves, and it's not going to take a ton, and this will probably require another coat just of clear. Oh, I'm getting goopy because of that reason right there. So because the leaves are so thick, It's running off the edges. Ah, goodness. Nothing like showing you guys a bunch of disasters in a video. Okay. I think I'm just going to leave those because I'll show you guys then how. Oh, I need to wipe the inside. I'll show you guys how easy they pop off once they cure in the next video. But I am cleaning off the space where I'm setting this guy so that he's not going to get sealed to the mat. Not that he wouldn't come up. He will come up. I know he will. I'm a little concerned about doing so thick on here, but we're just going to have to roll with it because of timing. And what I was concerned about was putting too much, which is already posed an issue, just like it did over there. I did not think that all the way through. If I were to do this differently, I'd probably not pour so much in the mold the first time to get my back side or the top side. And then I would do a thin layer of these leaves. And I would pop it out of said mold at that time. And at that point, I would do a clear coat to do the top doming, just so that it's not edgy. But, as I say, hindsight, 2020 in here. And it's still going to come out cool. That's what I have to tell myself. It still will be unique. May not be exactly what I wanted, but that's what happens when you jump in sometimes. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's fun to jump right in. But maybe you should have thought about it a little bit more. Oh, goodness. This is going to be a mess. This stick I'm using is also from Counterculture DIY. I love them for stirring micas or glitters, alcohol ink. Oh, they're so much fun. Okay. I think that is just going to be what it's going to be. Although, I do want to clean up a little bit of it. So, new paper towel, because I made a mess of this. I am going to pick him up. I am going to gently wipe the bottom side. And then anywhere I can see that I'm having leaves try to escape and overflow, like this crease right here, I'm just bringing it in and up and through it. Yep. And that's just going to be fine. I'll leave some of these. I wasn't trying to get those, but it caught it. Okay. That's going to be how it be. I'm going to maybe put just a little bit more of the glitter part right here and hope that that doesn't overflow as that levels out. But I do love the look of the leaves. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, I'm running out of space. You have not overflowed. Perfect. I don't see any more overflows. Let's see over there. Don't mind my head coming into maybe your screen. Whew, it is so close up here. I'm being super, super careful. But yeah, it's gonna... Yeah, because there's a lip right there. Okay, good. Whew. All right. So, I'm going to just put this up here, and I'm just going to make an impromptu one. There's something in it, though. Alright. There's still, like a piece of resin, dried resin from the last project or something that, like, from the edge that fell in. Okay. That's not going to be noticeable. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. So this one that I'm going to do is not even going to be the process that I just told you by not filling it all the way. I'm going to go ahead, because I have all this with the leaves, I'm going to make one that's just full on leaves, and that's what we're going to have. And I'm just going to try to spread some of these leaves. They're going to gravitate towards the center. That's what's going to happen. So I want to push some of it into the crevices and into the leaves so that it starts forming up there. And then what I'll probably do for the top layer of this one is I'll probably do like a colored mica or alcohol ink, and that way any of the clear parts in these leaf edges, like up here, I could push glitter these leaves up here all day and they probably wouldn't really stay because it's just trying to flow to the center. So in those parts, then the color that I choose would come through, basically. All right. All right, that used up that resin. Yay! That's exciting. Alrighty. I'll wipe that off before I threw it in my tools. So, let's do a couple spritz to you, a couple to you. And I'll just really quick. This one will probably definitely have bubbles in it, just because of the glitter and everything. I would like to say I'm not fully worried about that. I'm really not super worried, but I am slightly, because I probably see some just as the artist. And guess what? We had another side decide to be a booger. And then I added leaves to this project. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I have extra resin, don't want to waste it, and I'm gotta go. So, really quickly, going to show you what I'm going to do with that. So, the last time I had this mold, and this is going to be my bonus pour mold. So, any overflow I have, I'm going to throw into there. I'm only going to do like something really quick since I do have to go. And I'm going to put just a little bit of this yellow. I'm not a huge yellow fan. One of my daughters loves it. She always asks me, what's your least favorite color? I'm like, yellow, I really don't love it. And she's like, that's my favorite. I'm like, I know. Every time you ask me, I hate telling you. But for this, and I got not alcohol ink, Mica Powder all over me. So why not? And I'm going to choose alcohol ink. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking alcohol ink, and I said, let's do this red, like shimmer, which needs to be shook. Okay. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Alright. If you've watched other videos of mine, you know there's my crazy dogs. Just gonna be what it be. Because they are crazy. So I'm just guesstimating about what half is. And I'm not going to put a ton of alcohol ink. Just, you can't even see it on video because they're running out of space. But 2-3 drops in there. Mix that up. The alcohol ink, I'm going to let it be kind of liney and stringy. I'm not worried about mixing it solid. The mica powder, you definitely got to mix better so that you don't have powdery spots. So I might end up with a few because I'm rushing, but that's fine. Tis life. Alright, so one in each hand. No particular rhyme or reason because this is just a bonus. And I'm just kind of mixing them. I'm going to run out of yellow before I do the red. Just fine. It might look like ramen noodles or something. Looks kind of stringy. Oh well. This is just a bonus. These are fun to do so that you don't waste your resin. I add the yellow on this side because I got really heavy on the yellow on that side and none on this side. Or not none, but very little. And we didn't even fill the mold, so that's going to get another pour at some point when I have extra. This is the mold I'm working in right now. I do different molds. Depends on what I'm feeling and how much resin I have. And last time I just did this mold. Oh my goodness, I have a whole layer coming off on that one side now. On that tray. Nobody else is running over, tray. Why are you running over so badly? It's probably because I turned it or something. So, cleanup part. It's just a lot of alcohol and paper towels. That's what I go through the most. I'll wipe out all my cups. I will wipe off all my tools. Of course, this guy is just in the worst spot. So, I'm probably going to turn off the video so I can rush through my cleanup since I need to go. And I'm going to move this guy too in my video here. I'm going to try to get that bottom again just so that I don't have an issue on there. He definitely could have some crafting mistakes that we will be getting creative on. So, hope y'all enjoyed impromptu, crazy, fast. I know it's not super fast because this kind of stuff does, like I say, take about an hour, especially when you got to clean up. So I would say, you know, give yourself plenty of time so that you're not rushed. Give yourself 2 hours, but shoot for the hour so that you have time to clean up. So hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's life is going fantastic. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye-bye.